Hi, welcome back my Flower Garden Escape channel. I am happy to have you guys here. So today you are coming along with me as we are going to go through to check our tomato plants for any pests, any green hornworms. I'm pretty much going through to look for pests to see if we need to go ahead and go through with spraying because we're supposed to be getting a lot of rain. So it's going to be hard to spray for pests over the next few days, especially if it's just going to rain, because like I said, guys, with pesticides, once you apply and then once it rains, you have to go back through to reapply after it rains. So we're going to go through to check for any pests. I was out here already going through and checking on everything this morning, and we already found something. So before we get started into this, guys, don't forget to leave a like, leave us a comment. We always love hearing from you, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that way you can subscribe to our channel, and then don't forget to hit that bell so that way you don't miss out on any of our new videos. So I went ahead and I actually found one pest. This is a green hornworm. I'm gonna actually feed it to our bearded dragon. Green hornworms love tomato plants. They do heavy damage to tomato plants when they go to feed on them. It's kind of hard to spot them because they're so vibrant green. It's really very hard to locate them because they blend so well with the plant itself. So we're going to go through and kind of inspect. The best way typically to find hornworms on your tomato plants is by taking a black light and shining that black light on the plant itself. But this one, I was able to locate it just by slightly just looking underneath everything. Now, I do see something else here. We also get these. These are army worms. They can do some serious damage to the plants. As you guys can see, this tomato plant is definitely blooming. It definitely has some tomatoes on it, as you guys can see, if my camera would focus on it. When it comes to worms, you're going to definitely want to be proactive with it, because when you're not proactive, things can look really bad. When you're going through and checking everything, you're going to want to look really underneath leaves. Worms do not show themselves out on top. They will show themselves underneath the leaves. We don't have anything there. If I had the tiny green worms, I would be able to show you that, but those are not on these. These are good. So far, I'm really not seeing anything. We do have to go through. One thing I do go through with doing is cutting the extra sprouts from the main stem, just so that way they're not sucking that energy out from the plant like these things. So these are going to be considered suckers. I typically go through and pull these off. These are the lower branches. I don't want anything coming out of the lower branches, just due to it'll take more from the plant for it to produce. So that's definitely something I don't want it doing, is producing succulents. A fine example of how worms can do damage, I'm going to quickly bring you over here to the Brussels sprouts. They took a serious hit this year. Worms have devoured it. It doesn't matter how much I spray it or anything. They're coming back constantly. As you guys can see, these are all ate up. These are all tore up. Worms have been feasting on them so much, and you can't even see, like, you can see there isn't any worms on these plants as of currently, but somehow, some way, there is a worm Oh, let me move that out of there. There's a worm in here still eating on these because these have already been sprayed. Now, you can see there's really not much to the leaves. There's a different variety of worms that were eating on the leaves. Some worms through and they eat on the leaves, but they're mainly eating the main stuff on the leaves. They're not eating they're eating the meat of the leaf and not the veins of the leaves. So you'll see where the leaves go very, very bare. But that's just one example of, you know, of how much damage worms can definitely do in your garden. I have to trellis up these tomato plants. Even though I don't know what they are, I'm still going to go through to trellis them. I can't leave them like that. Even though I don't know what they are, I can't leave them like that. So, we have the tomato plants. They're looking good. We got a cucumber over here as well. Cucumber is doing marvelously well. She's growing, and she's starting to really latch on to where I wanted her to latch. So that's the good thing. When it comes to cucumbers and that, you gotta show them the ways of trellising. Otherwise, they'll just grow on the ground. They don't automatically trellis. You kind of gotta train them to trellis up, so that way they're climbing on that trellis system, because they won't just regularly just climb up. This other one I believe is going to be our cantaloupe. She's doing really well. We got some watermelon growing over here with her that I did not anticipate on growing here. It just kind of grew here, kind of thing. I have tried to grow squash in our garden, but the roots keep looking like this. So I'm gonna have to figure out something else, probably do a raised bed or something for squash, because in the ground they're not doing so great. So I may just do a raised bed for those moving forward. But when it comes to the watermelon plants, there isn't too much of an issue there. They grow pretty well by themselves. I don't worry too much on pesticides with them because the flowers are so low to the leaves, and I don't want to spray something on them and it'll deter the pollinators from them. So like neem oil and things like that, you don't want to apply directly to a leaf because it deters the pollinators from that leaf. I'm just going through here and pulling some slight weeds that we got growing here that I don't want in here. And things randomly like grow. I've been doing my best to kind of keep everything out of the garden from growing that shouldn't be growing in here. It is nearly impossible. So what we're gonna have to do is go through and pretty much pull it out, and I'm gonna have to lay some more mulch. This has marigolds in with it, so we're just gonna go ahead and take these marigolds and I'm gonna move them. Really, I don't know where I'm gonna move them to, but I'm moving them. Hold on. Alright, so we got that moved. There it is, and in the ground again. I'm gonna go ahead and get these planted while I'm at it. Can't sit here and not plant it. It's definitely needing to be planted. I need to get some new shovels because my shovels are bending. They're just kind of falling apart. I've had them for like 4 years, you know. So, alright, See? Alright, let's take this out. This is another watermelon. I've definitely needed to get it planted. So that's what I'm kind of going through here and doing, is just going ahead and getting it planted. Because it needs to be planted. It definitely needs to be planted. So I'm going to go ahead and get it planted since I'm out here. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and get this other one planted as well. I know this wasn't... We've pretty much inspected the tomato plants, to be fairly honest. And I told you guys I was going to start recording. I don't care what we're doing out here or what I'm doing out here. I'm going to record it. So you guys just get to come along for the adventure, really, as I go through my morning tour or whatever, looking at everything. I've been trying to come out here every morning. It's not good to transplant anything late in the afternoon just due to it being so hot. And plus this later afternoon, it's going to be downpouring raining. So I want to get these planted in so that way when it does rain, they'll get plenty of that rain. Now, I think I am going to go ahead and plant some of these butterfly bushes. I just need to go grab the shovel. So let's plant some butterfly bushes. I really won't know what to call this video because it's not an update. We've already looked for the pesticides and that's done. That we only found two worms on the plants, so that's the good news. Now we got to get this other stuff planted so that way it can start really growing well and thriving throughout the season. And I'm really hoping I can get all this done this morning. I have to go later today to find some shoes. I have something going on tomorrow that I'll need a nice pair of shoes for, and you don't want to wear Crocs for it. You know, I'm walking around here trying to find a shovel. My shovel's all the way by the greenhouse. Sometimes I put things and I forget where I put them. It's like the mom brain of all mom brains, pretty much. So every time I come out here, we always got to say something to our piggy. He always got to have something. He always got to have some lies, huh? Yes. Say, Mommy, you can't come out here and not love on me. I need the lies, huh? He's pretty content, to be very honest with you guys. He's lovable. You got a piece of hay. You can't bite on Mama. Yeah. You see him? See those tusks coming in? Did y'all see him? Let me see if I can. He's got some pretty blue eyes, if he would show them. Huh. See, I got some pretty blue eyes, but I don't like to show them because my long yellow eyelashes cover them up. But see, I can reach my hand in here. I can love on him. He ain't gonna mind it. He wants the love. He loves to be loved on. He's very familiarized with people. Huh. Quit. Do you want some breakfast this morning? Huh? Do you want breakfast? Look at that tail wagging. You want some breakfast? Huh? Do you want some breakfast? Huh? Oh, is he tired still? Are we still tired? Huh? Are we still tired? Look at that tail wagging. He's just a happy boy, huh? He wants some breakfast? Huh? You want some breakfast? He don't hurt none. That's for sure. I guess I need to get him some breakfast. He wants some breakfast this morning, so I'm going to give him some breakfast. So let's go ahead and get him some breakfast. Come on. Let's get you some breakfast. So we store all the animal feed in totes, which are like containers that like hold swimming pool fertilizers and chemicals and that. I'll give y'all some cracked corn. Go ahead and throw the chickens some cracked corn. Alright, hold on, baby. He wants his food. Give me your bowl. There. You guys see some breakfast. And his pool in there, we typically go through and clean. I gotta clean it again this weekend. In between the times it's not raining. His pool gets nasty. It gets a lot of mosquito larvae in it. So I go through to change it every week to keep it clean. You'll probably notice, I'll show you. It gets pretty nasty. So I don't like for him to swim in that nasty water and leave it that way. So I go through and clean it every week. Every week it's got to be clean. If not, it'll get nasty and it'll be infested with mosquitoes back there. So I go through to clean it every week. So the first plant I'm going to plant is going to be this first butterfly bush. I think I know exactly where I'm going to put it too. Because I want it to be somewhere where it's going to get a good amount of sun, but I can't plant it near other things. So I think we're going to plant it right here. I'm going to kind of set these out. These kind of have been sitting out in the nursery, so I'm kind of setting them out now to where we're going to plant them. Butterfly bushes do get big. They're not a small bush by no means. So I got to set these out to accordingly so that way I can make sure there's plenty of space in between them. So that's two. Ow. Attack of the fucking wild blackberry bushes. I'm sorry. Excuse my language, y'all. Alright. So, we got two of them placed. I'm going to go ahead and place this third one over here. Kind of spreading these out throughout the garden. And then I told my mom I'd give her one. So I got to put the other one into a bigger pot. Alright. Now we get to go through to plant them because I got them placed. I know where we're placing them now. Alright. So now let's place those some butterfly bushes. Where's my shovel at again? Right now I'm just going through to kind of do the hole, size the hole for how big I need it. So that way once I transplant it, we can make sure it's got plenty of room. And I'm just going to put the soil off to the side here. Now, you typically want to do 2 times the size of the pot. And you always want to go to the rim of the pot. So, that is actually perfect with where I need it. I'm actually going to put in a little more dirt. I went a little too deep there. Oh. Okay, better. Alright, now we're going to go through, squeeze this. Alright, look at that root ball. I'm just going to carefully kind of spread these roots, break them out. You got to do it gently. You don't want to cause any damage to the roots. Alright, there's that. Alright, perfect. Alright, now I'm just gonna go ahead and slightly start pushing back the soil back in here. Things like this, we don't want. And I'm just kind of pushing in some of this mulch back in with it. I'm going to step on it here in a few. I want to make sure it's all good and covered. Alright. Now, I won't really worry about watering, and the reason for it is because it's supposed to, like I said earlier, it's supposed to rain today. So I definitely want to get these planted so that way once it does rain, it'll give these guys the water they need to get established. Alright, one plant to go. Now let's move on to the others. Alright, here we are with this one. That one. All right, now we got to measure. Alright, that's good. Alright. Break those roots apart. Alright, there we go, that's good. Alright. Now we're going to push all this back in here. get this baby cozy in her new home. And she was starting to lose a lot of her leaves just due to she was ready to be transplanted. Alright, another plant planted. Let's move on to the next one. As you guys can see, these are done. Transplanting can be done pretty quickly, especially if you know, but you only got to know what you're doing though. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one planted. Alright, we're going to move this out of the way. Now these pots aren't super big, so we're not having to go super big with the hole, which is the good thing. Alright, I'm going to check it. Perfect. Look at that root system. That root system was definitely ready to be planted, and it just fell off. Alright, we're going to go ahead and plant this one in the ground. I'm not going to disturb those roots anymore because they look like they were already stressed enough. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it planted now. Alright, that one is planted. That one's done. Number 1, plant number 2, and then plant number 3 up here planted. So that's done. Next one, I'm going to transplant it, and we're going to refill it. But this one I'm giving to my mom. So we got to make sure we put it in a big pot. So let's see. Ugh. Can't get this pot out. Okay. This one you can definitely see it's losing its leaves. It's looking rough. I'm gonna go ahead and get it transplanted for perfect. Let me bring this out so y'all can see it better. Alright, so we got it in there. I'm just trying to really position it so we'll have an easier time getting the soil in there. Alright, and now what I'll have to do is I have to get more soil. Because this soil is not going to be enough to fill this pot. So I'm going to try and get a good portion of it filled. I have some pots around here that don't have anything in it, but I'm just gonna empty these pots into here, and it'll help do what I want it to do. So far, we've got a good portion of it filled up. Alright, I think one more pot. Which is going to be this one that's breaking. Practically crumbling in my hand. Should do the trick. I'm hoping. Alright. No, I lied. We're going to need a little more. One more. Last one, I swear. Oh, got it there. Alright, there we go. Perfect. Now she's done. Now she's in a bigger pot, and she'll do a lot better. We got her potted into a bigger pot. I'm probably going to go get some fertilizer and fertilize them. And then that is pretty much going to be it, guys. We really don't need to do too much else out here. I pretty much wanted you guys to come along for the adventure today to see what I'm doing today. That's going to be it, guys. We done transplanted everything. I need to find that cup that had the worms in it, because I set it down somewhere. I don't know where the hell I set it down at. You know what? I think I set it down at Wilbur's cage. Let's go check. Well, I set down a couple worms, but now I don't know where the heck they are now. Because I done got, oh, I see the cup. I done got distracted. See? I leave things sitting somewhere, and then I forget where I set them. So I have to always retrace my steps. All right, we're gonna feed these to our bearded dragon, and then that'll be it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed today. I know there wasn't a whole lot of insight, but there was some. We went through transplant the butterfly bushes. I'm gonna get the fertilizer and give them a little fertilizer and then call it a day for the garden. The hot tub pond is still a work in progress. It still does have some water in it now. So as you guys can see, it does have some water. We added some horn root into it, the seaweed grass that we got from the river. There's no fish in here. Well, I take that back. There is little fishies in here. If you look, where'd they go? They're right in there. You can see the fishes. Comment down below, I see fishes. But they're in there. The horn root helps give them air, so that's the good news. This sealant tape is definitely holding on with it being underwater, so that's the good news. But yeah, that's how much it's already filled. It's gonna rain again today, so it'll probably fill up a lot more. So that's gonna be it, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning and in the garden. Until next time, deuces.